The current state of the UFC. A very small minority is happy with it right now, and the general UFC fan base is not. Now, I made the video the other day saying why I hate the UFC, but I feel like there's no real point in just complaining, and I thought today I would go more in depth on my reasons for hating the current state of the UFC and give more reasons, because there is more reasons than what I gave in that video, and I thought I'd give solutions to these problems. Now, I don't expect any of this to be heard out by the big boss man Dana White. Okay, I got 12 fucking subscribers, but you know, I thought it'd be an interesting video idea. I think most people can agree that the promotion of fights in the UFC recently has really been lacking. The fights not being promoted enough, some fights being promoted too much, and fights being promoted the wrong way. A lot of things in promotion has gone wrong in the UFC lately. Now, right now, when a big fight happens in the UFC, the general promotion that goes on is that the UFC announce the fight, post some 30-second promos on Instagram, get the fighters to do some stupid TikTok challenges, do a boring press conference with boring reporters that have no clue how to ask any questions, and it's only 15 minutes long. That is the promotion of the UFC right now. Do you see the issue? Well, how do we fix this? First of all, we stop the TikTok challenges, okay? Now, take it from me, the audience that the UFC is trying to get by doing these cringy fucking... They're not even trends, they're not fucking popular, okay? Just stupid filters. When you get someone in their early 40s, early 50s, whatever, that kind of 40 to 55 range, okay, and you get them to make a plan on how to get a younger audience, it's never going to fucking work. Okay, never. So completely scrap that, okay? Now, next, press conferences. I want there to be a 5 to 10 minute segment at every single press conference where fans get the opportunity to ask questions. Will some questions be really weird? Yes. Will some questions be really disrespectful? Yes. But that's entertainment. That brings hype to the fight, and it's better than Mr. Quivers or John Morgan or whoever the fuck's saying, how you feeling about Saturday night? What does this win do for you? That's boring. That doesn't generate anything. That is just something for them to put in their blog that about 5 people will read. Now, the last idea that I want to go over for promotion is having face-to-faces, okay? The UFC did this once, and it was a hit, okay? Boxing does this all the time. Even Misfits Boxing, KSI's promotion, does this, okay? Putting 2 people in a room who are about to fight and forcing them to have a conversation is gonna create something, even with the most boring people. Put Leon and Bilal in there and you would have got something out of that. For me, this is a very easy thing to do. It's not very hard. It's a pretty much guaranteed. And you just need to have one guy in the middle, John Anik or something, who can ask these guys questions and give them the opportunity to bounce off each other and provide entertainment and provide hype for their eventual fight. For me, this one is extremely easy. I don't get why the UFC haven't done this. I think it's pure laziness. I'm moving on to the next thing, which is rules. Now, for this segment, I'm going to combine the rules that I want changed in MMA and judging, because they both come under commissions and it's shit that commissions have to fix. Now, it is a blatant fact that the rules of the UFC and MMA do favour grapplers. That is literally what they were made for. So we need some things to be changed real quick. Leads to a grounded opponent. Luckily, this is being changed in November, as before a grappler could just stall and face practically 0 consequence for doing so. The next rule is 12 to 6 elbows. There is no reason for 12 to 6 elbows to be banned. They were saw as very dangerous at the time. Wow. Obviously you're getting hit in the head with an elbow going downwards, but it's a situation where it is what it is. It's a move and it shouldn't be banned. Now the oblique kick is a bit of a grey area. Personally, I think it's scummy, but I don't think it should be banned. Next, we need more clear guidelines on point deductions. It seems at this point a fighter will get warned a million times and will never get a point took off of them. We need more point deductions instead of just constant warnings. So more clear guidelines for that have to be set. Now, moving on to the judging. First of all, live judging is useless and is not needed. It doesn't fix anything. Second of all, we need new judges. When a judge is constantly making terrible after terrible after terrible decision, I need it explained to me how that judge keeps a job. If you are constantly fucking up, you should lose your job. The commission just seems very lackadaisy about this and genuinely seems like they don't care that much. And judges need to be taught that damage is the number one factor in winning a fight. Judges pick and choose whenever they want on what's more important, damage or control time. It should be damage every single time. Next up, I have matchmaking. Now, matchmaking. This is obviously crucial. It's the fights we get to see, it's the fights we get to watch, it's the way we see storylines unfold, and there is not a bigger example of bad matchmaking right now within the UFC than Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone's aware of this whole story at this point. You've got Stipe, hasn't fought in 4 years, got knocked out in his last fight. And then you've got the prime, young, 31-year-old Tom Aspinall, who's knocked out, I think, 5 or 6 top 10 contenders at this point. And he's not the number one contender. He's the interim champion. And then you've got Jon Jones, who seems to be getting a free pass by Dana White because of his accomplishments down at light heavyweight to just be able to hold the belt and do whatever he wants. Now it's very clear the fight that should be made. It should be Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones, but that's not the fight that is being made, okay? And that is the biggest example of bad matchmaking within the UFC right now. The UFC are making matches that make zero sense. They're overestimating how certain matches will do pay-per-view wise, hype wise, because Jon Jones and Stipe is nowhere near as a bigger fight as the UFC really thinks it is. Obviously there's more minor cases here and there. For example, Chandler and Conor fight not being made, and then they're making Chandler and Oliveira, which we've already seen, where you could have done like Chandler just waiting, okay, or him fight Fiziev, and you could do Oliveira versus Dan Hooker. There's many situations in the UFC right now where they're just making the wrong matchups. Obviously Tom and Jon is the biggest example of that. But anyway, I'm moving on to the last thing that I want to go over today. And fighters, you're not safe, okay? You are going to be critiqued as well. How do we fix the matchmaking in the UFC, okay? Well, first of all, Dana needs to book his ideas up and stop being extremely biased and stop giving layups to certain people like Alex Pereira and Killer Roundtree. It's a very simple fix, okay? It's not very hard. Dana and Hunter just need to stop being plebs. There you go. Great fix, great fix. Fighters, you thought you were safe, okay? No, you're getting currently in the UFC overall are being a huge nuisance. We got people ducking people, not wanting to fight them. We got people like Ankalaev, for example, refuses to fight for the title if it's not in Abu Dhabi. We got fighters making requirements that are impossible for the UFC to meet. We've got champions being extremely inactive for no reason. We've got prospects being inactive for no reason. For example, Bo Nickel takes 0 damage and takes 8 months off for no fucking reason, okay? Now let's be real right now, the champions that we got right now, I went in depth on this in the other video, I'm not going to go in depth, are not as good as the champions we had like 2 years ago, if we're being completely real with ourselves. So fighters, you're to blame as well, okay, you're not innocent in this, but how do we fix this? Well, this is the one thing where I don't have a fucking clue. Okay, I'll be real, I got no clue how to fix that. But Dana, put your fucking foot down, okay? Anyway guys, you know, I'm done. I said what I think needs to be said. And these are my ideas on how you can do your best to fix the UFC and bring us back where we were like 4 years ago or something. Okay, anyway, I'm out, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do whatever the fuck, like, subscribe, do all that. I'm out. Goodbye.